Welcome to ISE's Equity Index Weekly Outlook, a weekly outlook on ISE and other industry indexes, hosted by Patrick Ceresna, a derivative market specialist and investment manager with extensive expertise in options and the broader derivative markets. ISE trades options on more than 15 proprietary sector indexes, as well as broad-based indexes and a variety of licensed benchmarks. ISE continually enhances its trading systems and develops new index options products to provide investors with the best marketplace and investment tools to trade smarter.
Hello and welcome to the ISE Equity Index Outlook for October 26, 2009. This is Patrick Ceresna. First off, I want to take a look at the S&P 500 using that SPDR exchange traded fund symbol SPY. We've been watching that 110 to 112 focal point for a month or more, and we finally this week got up and tested and rejected off there a couple times. One of the things that we've been over and over again talking about for over a month is that we were looking for some sort of a market top to develop up here. That I just want to emphasize that when we're saying we're looking for a market top doesn't mean that we know a market top is going to come in there. We simply are identifying a price level in the market where it would be very logical for a corrective wave to begin on the downside of the S&P. We still are of the same conviction. The one thing is that if we don't see anything but a shallow pullback, which means let's say the S&P, let's say with the SPDR is holding above the 105, 106 area and then rolls back up, we can't rule out the possibility that we have a break above that 110 to 112 zone. But if we do see a good bout of selling and definitely a loss of momentum and rolling over, this would be a very logical place to see a more extended corrective wave coming in here. Next here, I want to take a look at the ISE U.S. Regional Banks Index, which is the symbol JLO. And more or less, we continue to see the index struggling up near the previous highs around the 20.5 to 21.5 focal point we've identified there. What we're really looking for here is if the broader markets go through some sort of bigger picture corrective wave, we would want to see a break below the 19.5 level to give us a sell signal on the downside to try to participate on a pullback on these regional banks. The one thing I do want to emphasize, if in fact the market reverses back up and we break above the 2150 area, at that stage we may see an extended move that could even push to the 23 to 23.5 area on the upside. So I don't want to become immediately bearish on this play, but if in fact we do see the deterioration in the price action below 19.5, then we could certainly catch a swing down. Next here, I want to take a look at the ISE Index, which is a symbol SIN. This is an index of all the casino, tobacco, and distiller companies. And more or less at this juncture, we are seeing a rollover off that 112 to 114 focal point we've been watching for the last little while. This may develop into a double top formation if the whole market reverses. But just again, being careful if the market does have another swing left on the upside here. If this rolls off this 110 area back towards the upside, it could easily thrust up into the 120 to 122 before we see a legitimate bigger picture correction. So I don't want to immediately become negative on this play, but in the bigger picture, if we start breaking below the 104 to 106 zone, that's when I'd be looking for a much bigger corrective wave in the index. Next year, I want to take a look at the ISE Home Builders Index, which is a symbol RUF. We're seeing some relative weakness in the home builders over a lot of the other indices. First of all, the sell-off that occurred about a month ago was very dramatic, and the counter rallies have been very weak and being distributed every time there is any rally of significance. The blue box area there represents the Fibonacci retracement zones, which at this juncture have actually contained all of the upside rallies. This is a typical of a topping formation, so we are going to be looking to see whether this rolls down on the downside. If we have any break of that 990 to 10 area on the index, it probably may open the window for not only a corrective wave down toward the 9 to 9.25 area, but we may actually see a push all the way down toward the 8 to 7.5 area on the downside if there's any real momentum caught on a downside swing. Next here, I want to take a look at the ISE Natural Gas Index, which is the symbol FUM. And what we saw here was a perfect rally right up into our measured move into the 110 to 115 area, and a strong reversal coming off there. And that certainly is where we were expecting the first corrective wave to occur. The one thing I do want to emphasize is that if we in fact hold in this 102 to 105 area and it contains all the selling, there's nothing stopping this from rolling back up and making even a thrust up to the 125 area where that 50% retracement line is. So even though we were looking for this corrective wave and this wave higher is finished, the one thing we are trying to emphasize is the fact that there is still maybe more legs higher until we've officially seen some sort of a topping formation. Next here, I want to take a look at the ISE Mini FTSE 100 Index, which is a symbol UKX. And one thing that's been very evident is over the last 4 months, in the context of all the global indices, this one has had a very high relative strength over even the S&P or any of the other ones. And what we're really seeing at this stage is now consolidating up at these higher highs. And we identified the 515 to 520 focal point, but there are some measured moves for these swings that push all the way up into the 530 area. I don't want to draw another focal point up there, but certainly we can still reject off of these zones right over here and roll over. First indication that we see a bigger picture correction starting would be a break below the 495 to 500 area. But if we just consolidate in here, we can't rule out the possibility of another swing still higher, just like we're calling in all the other indices. So we don't want to become outright bearish in any way here on these, but we do want to emphasize is that they are overdue for a correction. And so the first indications of that are breaks of these levels that we've identified. That was your ISE Equity Index Outlook. Thanks for joining me.
Thank you for participating in this week's session. Please join us again next week. For more information about Patrick Ceresna and to sign up for free index options trade alerts, visit www.optionsource.net. To learn more about ISE index options, visit us at www.ise.com/indexoptions.